Good day, teachers. Take a listen to this.
Fraction, that's when it bends, right? Like that penciling water example.
Exactly. When light goes from one medium to another, like air to water, it changes speed, and that makes it bend.
So that's why the pencil looks broken, even though it's not. And is that how prisms work too? Because different wavelengths bend differently.
Absolutely. A prism separates white light into its colors because each color, with its own wavelength, bends at a slightly different angle.
That's so cool. So rainbows too. Is that rain acting like a prism?
Exactly. When sunlight hits those water droplets in the air,
This podcast-like recording was generated by AI in an application called Google NotebookLM. In this video, I'm going to show you the essentials of how to use it and show you how to make one. Google NotebookLM is an AI-powered research assistant that can help with summarizing, analyzing, and creating resources from documents that you upload. It can also answer questions like an LLM does, create a study guide from the materials you include, and at the end, near the end of the video, I'm going to talk about their policy, so hang around for that if you want to be fully up to speed on this application. You can find it at notebooklm.google.com, and you can use your Google account to sign in. In our school division, this site is currently only open for teachers and other adults, but it's not open for students. It may be in the future. These are the collections that I have made so far, and let's take a look at one. So on the left here is where you add the resources that you want to be included in what you're studying. The plus sign lets you add additional sources. The types of sources: Google Docs, slides, you can have a website, a YouTube video, and of course copied and pasted text. You should not add any copyrighted materials that you do not have the rights to. Right here is where you can ask it a question, just like it was ChatGPT or another LLM, and it's even actually suggesting some questions that I could ask it based on what I've already uploaded and what I've already created. Then you're going to click this button right here, which doesn't look too much like a button, but it's very important, the one that says Notebook Guide. This is where the magic happens. So you can see these are the things that it will help you create from your materials. You can create an FAQ, a study guide, a table of contents, a timeline, and a briefing doc. Once you click one of these things and create one, it's going to live back here in the background. And the way to make this go away is to click that notebook guide button again to make that disappear. And then these are some of those things that I have already created. For example, here is the study guide about visible light. Now for the audio overview or the podcast. Again, we're going to use this button to go there. And I've already created one, so I'm just going to click load and it will reload that audio review that I had made previously. So I deleted my podcast so that you could see how to generate one. So this is what it looks like if one has not already been generated. The generate button is here, and once you click it, it will take a very long time to make the podcast. You cannot control anything about the output. You can't control how long it's going to be or what you want the focus to be. So the only way to change it once it's already made is to either change the study materials or to just delete it and have it create another one. So this may take a few minutes, no need to stick around. Yes, definitely go do something else for 5 minutes. So for auditory learners, obviously this is going to help them learn the content. ELL students, English language learning students, can really benefit when they hear vocabulary that you're wanting them to learn used in context. And then of course teachers can use these as a model of how to have conversations that are around educational content if you're trying to show your kids how to talk about content that you're teaching in class. Then of course it is a fantastic review material. So here's some directions I wrote for you for how to do it. First, create a new notebook. Upload the sources, examine the summary. Then you want to do steps number 4 and 5 are kind of important. You want to rename the notebook and you want to rename your sources. Why? Well, they're going to be mentioned by name in the podcast. And if they have some weird name that includes numbers or is something else, the podcasters are going to say that out loud. So you want to make a name there that makes sense when students hear it when they're listening to the podcast. Then you just click on that notebook guide button, wait about 5 minutes, which I'm going to show you in just a second, I hope. And then super, super important, you want to listen really, really carefully to make sure that everything is correct. If something's wrong in there, delete it and try again. Once your audio overview is created, you can give it a rating, thumbs up or thumbs down, and I think that does help a little bit with training. And then here are your options: the playback speed option, download it, and obviously this is how you can save it and move it into Google Drive, or delete it and try again. So finally, let's talk about their policies. Respect copyright laws, do not share copyrighted content without authorization, or provide links to sites where people can obtain unauthorized downloads, yada, yada, yada. What you're seeing there is Google putting the burden on you, the user, not to infringe on copyright. The remainder of the policy down here, don't rely on Notebook for medical, legal, financial advice, is Google telling you, caveat emptor, buyer beware, that like all other LLMs, it is not a substitute for using professional services, institutions, or professional advice. That aside, this seems like a really exciting new tool for teachers to try to create study materials for their students. Try it out and let me know what you think. Remember, be brave, be kind, and do good work.